past weekend, I went to the Sew Magical Expo 2023 here in Orlando, Florida. And while I do primarily talk about vintage and patterns and occasional other things on this channel, I am also a stage manager and event manager, specializing in large-scale corporate events, cruise line stage management, opera, and a small thing that I might have worked on a while back called the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So while I did have an enjoyable time, I have some notes. However, I do want to preface this entire video with, I have never been to a sewing expo before this one. There's a possibility I went to one with my mother back when she was still alive, but that would have easily been when I was like 10 or 12 or 13, not very old at all. So that was many moons ago, and I don't remember it. So this was my first one going as an adult, solo, and just generally being slightly anxious about the situation. I ended up picking up the all-weekend pass with no VIP access or early access to classes. The all-weekend pass was $125, and when I did eventually end up signing up for classes, my glove-making course was $62, and the adventure into Dino Crafts was $12. This will come into play later. But first, we're gonna go through it in the order of the good, the bad, and the holly. I know it's a really bad joke and it doesn't actually scan, but we're going with it. So let's start out with the good. First up, the vibes were immaculate. I went to a sewing expo. Everything I saw around me was related to the sewing expo, which, in case you've ever been to a conference related to other types of things, you do know that occasionally you have vendors that don't really belong there. I'm looking at you, windows and door salesmen and MLMs. And before you come at me, we're not discussing MLMs. They don't belong at small business fairs. I will die on that hill. But I digress. So as I did wander around the convention this weekend, I really did feel like I was getting to see all types of different sewing vendors, sewing exhibits, etc., which is exactly what I wanted to see. And on top of that, the variety of vendors that were present was also quite spectacular. Not only did you have entire sewing studios, you also had aisles that were wide enough for everyone to be able to look around and pass each other, as well as all kinds of sticker and tchotchke vendors, woodworking, and lots of fabric. A couple of my favorites are MoreMeKnow, which is a play on the owner's name, which I think is 10 out of 10 really cute. I did get quite a lot of things from them, but I'll save that for the holly section of the video. Another one of my favorite booths was the So Chic booth, whose owner, Laura Nash, creates vintage style patterns but made for modern sizing. She does all PDF patterns that are printed or downloadable. The printed ones are the ones that you see here. And she does have a separate line of plus size as well to go along with it. She does bring along a rack of completed garments so that you can see how her patterns make up in real life, which I think is key to envisioning making garments for yourself. Another wonderful thing about this entire endeavor was the people. Most of the humans that I actually met and talked to were amazingly friendly, lovely people. Although I will say over the last couple of years, when I am not in a position of either stage managing a show and knowing everything about what's going on, or being with a friend, I found that I kind of get a little nervous around people, which is a new and interesting sensation that I haven't had before. But I did get over it, and I did introduce myself to some people, especially because it was very easy for me as an intro point to be like, hey, your craft is really cool. I do that too. So that was sort of my like super awkward way to try and make friends. It only partially worked, but hey, it's fine. Another really nice part is that there were two areas that were very specific to this event. One was the Sew Magical Lounge, which you could go and set your sewing machine up and just go to town if you so chose, in between all of your classes. The other is the closet, which allowed for storage of your sewing machine and other personal items while you were traveling around the vending floor. And while I did enjoy the variety of classes that were presented on the schedule when I first went to sign up for classes, let's get into the bad, because while there were a plethora of classes offered, especially for the size and scope of this expo as it currently stands, first up, I have never seen so many bag making classes in my life. Now, I was told a little bit later on in the event that this actually started out as a bag sewing expo, so that made it make a little bit more sense, but as a person who did not have that contextual information already tucked in my brain, it was a little weird when I was signing up for them. I only selected so many classes, one, because I'm kind of cheap, and two, because a lot of the courses that I wanted were sold out. So while the class selection does look pretty hefty from the front end, what you come to quickly realize is that unless you are buying VIP plus passes with early access to classes, there is a high likelihood that the classes that you want are going to be gone. I wanted to do all types of things. I wanted to do Wingo, I wanted to do the painting, I wanted to make a candy corn bag. All of these options, by the time that I had access to it, were completely sold out. Now, in fairness, I did have access to this beginning August 15th. However, due to my busy, hectic schedule, I had completely forgot until August 16th, which is when I actually went in to go purchase my courses. Would any of these courses have been available if I would have remembered the night before? I don't know. So that really the only classes left for me were going to be the glove making course, and then I just wanted to do something on Sunday, so I did the dino making course to make something to give to my daughter, which I will show you a little bit later. And while these classes that I did end up taking were very fun, the glove making course was exceptional because I don't understand, okay? I fully acknowledge, not just raising my hand, I don't understand the functionality of this. And the teacher, Laura Nash, really, really did. And I was supremely grateful to learn from her. Was I a chaos monster inside the class? Absolutely I was. Absolutely I was, because I completely jumped forward a step. I was supposed to not cut the fingers out until I had sewn together a certain portion, even though on the drawing on the inside it showed them all cut apart, and I always cut everything before I do it. So she came over at one point and very nicely verbally patted me on the head and went, "Good job, dear." But it's fine. I knew going into this that these were only going to be a mock-up for me because of the fabric texture that was provided. While it was very good to learn on, especially because it's a little bit slippery, the texture sensation of that made me want to die inside my skin, rip it off, and then throw it away. It wasn't for me, but I did know that these would be really good as far as a wearable mock-up or a first try around. I know I don't normally do mock-ups on this channel. Look at me learn. Will I continue to do this? Probably not. Let's just be real about this. So the classes that I did end up taking were quite lovely. The problems with these classes lie in that we were in a very, very large cavernous room. This large cavernous room, when it was divided up with simple pipe and drape, which if you are doing small lectures and the sound bleed over doesn't matter as much, that's perfectly fine and understandable. However, when you are doing courses that involve meticulous hand sewing or really fine detail, or you absolutely need to hear the instructor for every single step of the way, it becomes problematic. My glove class, thankfully, didn't really have anyone that was on either side of us, so thankfully, for that one where I really needed to hear her, we were able to just kind of gather around one table and really just be together. Because she also, at the time, didn't have a mic or a projector to present her PowerPoint or to boost her vocals. So while we were able to gather together to keep all of our instruction really nice and neat, it would have helped if all of these classrooms were actual divided classrooms. Like the interlocking freestanding panel walls that you sometimes see at these events, those would be better to kind of keep all of the information in the room as much as possible. Still gonna have sound traveling over the walls. So if there's a particularly rowdy class, maybe you should just schedule that class by itself. Because apparently when Wingo was happening, Winego? It's wine and bingo. It sounds like a really good time, but I didn't get to go because it was sold out. But apparently when Wingo, is what I'm just gonna call it, was scheduled, there was also other classes that were scheduled next to it in this big hall that was on the left-hand side. The problem was, obviously they're having a good time. We want people to have a good time. It's a conference. Please go have a good time. It completely drowned out one of the other classes to the point that she had to cancel it. Like there was another teacher who was trying to teach over Wingo, and that extra course needed to cancel because they couldn't hear each other, she couldn't teach, and so they just canceled it, which is a really big bummer, not only for the participants, but also for the teacher, because that's how they get paid, is by teaching these courses. Not only was the sound bleed a really big issue, I would also like to ask Gaylord Palms, where were your trash cans? Why were there no trash cans inside the hall? Is it the event staff didn't request it, so you didn't provide? Is it that someone missed it on the rider? There were no trash cans inside these venues except for very sporadically. And I'm talking like in the entire classroom section, instead of trash cans, people were putting boxes on the floor and filling the floor box with trash. because there were no trash cans. There was none in the dining area that I could see, especially like where the tables were. Maybe they only brought them out for food. I didn't eat any of the food there because I have 23 food allergies, and the only options available were a buffet that was pre-selected, and it was $26. $26 for food I can't eat. Bring my own stuff from home. I know which one I'm going to go with because my dietary restrictions are immense, and I expect absolutely no one to be able to facilitate me. It's fine. And unfortunately, this wasn't just the classroom one, it was also the vendor floor. I saw, I think, maybe 2 trash cans the entire time in that room as well. So I'm not sure where that fell through, but that has got to be fixed for next time. Because as Disney puts it, you need a trash can every 6 to 8 feet, because that's how far someone's willing to go to throw away their trash. And while we're talking about communication and the trash can epidemic of 2023, let's also discuss the communication to the participants. Now, this was my very first time at this event. I have never been here before. I know no one. And yet, the final email that I received from Sew Magical Expo is dated August 16th with my confirmation of purchase of my classes. That is the last time I heard from them. That is completely unacceptable. That comes from my stage manager side, my event manager side, and just a general participant who is trying to get excited for this. I almost forgot the event was going to happen because I had heard nothing. I sort of panicked on the day that I drove over to try and get my stuff and then couldn't end up getting my stuff for other reasons. That had absolutely nothing to do with the event and everything to do with me. It's fine. But when I drove over, I actually panicked and thought, oh God, did I buy the wrong year? That's how little communication there was, that I was so concerned that I had messed up that badly. And I'm a stage manager and I'm pretty good with dates. So the fact that the last time that I heard from the Sew Magical Expo at large was more than a month before the event, no week before, here's your parking, no, hey, these classes are still available, no, nothing. Because to me, big events equal big marketing. And that's sort of what this felt like at first. It was like, oh, I found you through Instagram. I clicked the link in your bio and I bought my ticket. I had no idea there was a Facebook group. It's apparently a very super active Facebook group. I'm in it now and it's very active, so active, holy cow. But that should not be the only way you communicate with people. If the only way you're going to communicate with people is via Facebook, you need to put somewhere in here really big, like a specific email by itself that says, hey, do you want the most recent up-to-date info on this? Please follow our Facebook group here. And then your participants, me, first timer, would have known, must go get on Book of Faces, and thusly I will know what's going on. But that didn't happen. Even in your class sign-up email from August 13th, there's only a link to YouTube, and then at the very, very bottom, it has the little Facebook symbol. That's not enough to tell me that that's your main point of communication. You need to communicate to the people as if they've never been there. And while we're on the topic of as if they've never been there, I did have an issue. On Sunday, I was signed up for Paints and Adhesives, which was one of the very few free lectures that were given on the stage, which is in the vendor hall at the very back. You needed more seating, but that's neither here nor there. This event was at 9:30 on Sunday morning. I am not a morning person because I have worked in theater for far too long and my prime operational hours are from 4 p.m. to midnight. So I arrive at 9:20 a.m. I walk into the vendor hall, I go all the way back to the stage. There's a projector set up. I'm like, okay, great. Looks like we're gonna start a course here soon. Excellent. I'm gonna wander the hall for 10 minutes and then I will come back. And I get caught up talking to one of the booth owners who was really super lovely. And I look and I go around the corner because I was still at the back and I look over at the corner and I go, why is there nothing happening? I expected a noise to cue me to go sit my happy ass back down. There was no noise. There was no human. There was no one sitting in the chairs. So now I'm a little suspect. And so I go back to the booth owner and I'm asking, hey, who would I talk to besides registration, or is that who I would go to with this issue? The thing is that I want to preface very clearly, this was a free event. I was coming to learn from someone for free, which is also part of what I expected my $125 ticket to provide me. And the vendor tells me, yes, you should go to registration and go find the two humans that run this event. I'm not going to name names here. You need to find one of them. And I went, I've never been here before. I'm sure these people are lovely. I don't know them. Because every time I interacted with someone, they definitely thought that I knew who these people were. And I'm like, I'm really sorry. It's my first time here. And at this point, I was not a part of the Facebook group. I didn't know their names. Like, I appreciate them putting on this event because you're putting on the event. 10 out of 10, good job. But that doesn't automatically mean that every single person that shows up to your expo is going to know who you are. You need to come into every interaction with someone as if they don't know anything, because then you can get them to the point where you know what they know, and then you can help them. So I go to registration and I find the same problem. They go, oh, you need to go find X or Y. Because all I wanted to do at this point was figure out what happened. I wasn't gonna ask for my money back. I wasn't gonna complain. And so I just needed to find a human that knew what was going on. And I could go, hi, what's happening? Because I was like, is it going to be later? Has it moved? Am I just missing it? But no one knew that answer except for the two people that run the event, which to me is not ideal. Because if you have things like classes canceled, things have moved, your registration needs to know, your volunteers need to know, everyone needs to know so everyone can answer the question, not just the two people running it. That's frustrating for a brand new person like me, because now I probably spent about 15 minutes going from the booth owner to registration to walking with a human being to find one of the people in a class fixing a projector, which 10 out of 10, great job, you got the projector working. But then when we finally did find the person to talk to, brought up the situation, said that the class was canceled and that was due to an emergency, I totally understand. I get emergencies, that's fine. I was just trying to figure out why I hadn't received an email, a communication, something to let me know, hey, we're really sorry that free thing that you signed up for isn't available anymore. You know, please don't show up, whatever. They looked at me and said, well, there was an email that went out. And I said, well, not to everyone because I'm here and I didn't get it. And I checked my email, I checked my spam. There is no email communication from them after August 16th. So I don't know where your email went, but it did not come to me. And I get it, it's a technology thing, but for me, it's an early morning class. And if I would have been receiving emails beforehand from you with classes are still available, things like that, it probably would have gone through because your system would have already checked my email and I would have already known to expect emails from you. So it was a little frustrating because now I'm at this conference. I've already gotten in for the day, so I've already paid for parking. I'm already here. I'm committed to the bit. I'm not going to pay for parking twice. That's not happening. So now I'm just here until my next class at 2 o'clock on the last day of the event, where I've already gone through the vendor hall because it's not that big, as there were about 30 or so vendors. I didn't bring my sewing machine, so I didn't go to the lounge to go sew things. And there were no other lectures, panels, things like that. So I sat around. I wandered around. There was a gorgeous Indian wedding happening and I got to watch the bride go in for her entrance with a music change. I cried. It was beautiful. I went and got some Starbucks. I killed time. But to me, if I'm already paying you $125 for 3 days, there should be a plethora of options for me if something gets canceled that isn't just chill in the lounge or go to the vendor hall. I would have loved some lectures from folks. I would have loved panels discussing, like, how do we keep sewing sustainable? You know, sewing green, is it possible? But the expectation of that also is that we're having discussions about the community. We're not just asking the participants to pay extra money for the courses, which is a valid thing to charge for courses because you need to pay for the instructor's time and the actual items. Ingredients list, that's not it. What's the word? Oh my God, where'd my brain go? We're just gonna go with it, with the ingredients to make the thing. I don't know where my brain just went. But you need to have other things to allow the people that are going there to feel the value of your event. Because while I would probably go back for another year, I would do it very, very differently. I would pick one day, I would take one class and do everything all at once. Because to me, the value was the class that I took with the gloves, which was amazing. And it wasn't quite as much the rest of the event. So I would probably go like on a Saturday, which seemed to be like the busiest day. Full disclosure here, I completely missed Friday because not only did I have a video and a whole crap load of patterns to list, and I had definitely fallen behind, but I just had focused so much on that I thought I was going to go on Friday. I kept saying, I'm going to go when I'm done. I'm going to go when I'm done. I'm going to go when I'm done. Guess who didn't go when she was done? And then trying to get around the venue was a desperate challenge because the signage, while it was clear once you got into the rooms, finding the space was not. The only type of sign that was really available was there was a small parking garage at the way end of the convention center that told you Sew Magical Expo was this way. That sign was only there on Friday and Saturday. By Sunday, that sign had been removed because there was another conference coming in and they had taken that one down, which is not ideal because there was a whole Sunday planned. So if you're coming in from there, you don't know where you're going. Also, if you were to go from the hotel toward Sew Magical, which it was through Sunday, and the day that I came through the hotel and in to kind of explore things was on Sunday, there were no signs from the hotel all the way to the staircase. You had to know where you're going by Sunday because they had taken down all of the signs that were with the event. I don't know if this was a Gaylord Palms mess up or if this was how it had been the entire time because I didn't go up there Friday and Saturday. I didn't have a need to. I did it on Sunday, which is still a full conference day that this conference has paid for. So there were 2 weddings going on that had lots of signage. There was another event that was starting on Monday that had great signage, like the kind that's like that sticky back vinyl that you apply one time and then you throw it away because it's conferences and they are not green. But you know exactly where you're going. They had signs everywhere. I was never confused about where I was going for this other conference. But all the Sew Magical signs, if they were up Friday and Saturday, by the time Sunday showed up, they were nowhere to be found. Except for the small signs that were in the bottom atrium that were the Welcome Sew Magical. Because obviously that was a part of the conference and those were left up because they were installed with the conference. And they were going to be struck when the conference left. Struck meaning like cleanup. All of that to say, I would love to see this expo grow. I would love this to see, now we're not talking like Dragon Con or like whatever else those big cons are. Maybe it could get there one day, but I think if it does get there, you would lose sort of like the really like fun, sewy vibe. I want to keep the vibe of the event, but I feel like there needs to be more value given to the people that are there. And not just in small groups that know each other, bag exchanges, etc. You need to go more to a mass appeal, not mass appeal, a more sewing diverse appeal. Because what I would have loved is Sew Magical Expo, some cosplay courses, some, there were a couple, but there weren't enough because it was overloaded with bag sewing. Which again, if you're going to be a bag expo, please just be a bag expo. And that's great. And I love that for you. I won't go, but I love that for the people that love that. The same way like I go to vintage fairs. That's not for everybody. I get that. And that's okay. But if you're going to call yourself Sew Magical Expo, you need to branch out more into the magical and save some of the bag stuff for the bag. Badgical, so badgical. I still can't say that. And so I really want to see this grow into something. I am tempted, if they let me after this video, to reach out and teach something. Maybe have a booth there to, sell some vintage sewing patterns, talk about vintage, just be a general nerd, which, I am. And one thing I do want to say to the creators of the event, good job. I can have all the critiques I want, but at the end of the day, I'm not the one that put on the event. You are. And you did it. You managed to rent a small fleet of industrial machines? That is no small task, and also getting them loaded in and out, arranging all of that. You did a lot of really good work. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for putting this on. It's hard, but you did it. Okay, who wants to see what I got? Let's start with the swag first. So we got the bag and all the accoutrement that you can see here on the table, some of which I unbagged here for you to see better. So you can see I got some zipper pulls from Zorel, a little tag from Heartwood and Hyde Co., some discount codes, a bookmark for my kiddo to color. We always love some free stickers. Got a little needle holder from Cranky Kangaroo, who was the person who did the fashion show with that amazing rainbow dress. We got to talking, we're fast friends now. I'll put her channel down below and link her Instagram as well, because the dress is fantastic. So go over, show her some love on her channel as well. Got a little safety whistle, I think is what that's supposed to be, which 10 out of 10, we love that. Thank you very much. And then this whole bit here is from MoreMeKnow, which is another zipper pull. Some super cute, look at the little tags. You look really pretty today. I love it. I don't know where I'm gonna put these in my garments, so it's not itchy as heck, but I'll figure it out. Got a business card, coaster, maybe? It's cute. It's like their signature thing. Like it's on all their backdrops. Very cute. And of course I saw the ghost sticker and asked if I could have it. So yay! There is one more sticker that I have managed to misplace already from Dragon Girl Design. But she gave me another free sticker as well. Now on to the things that I made. We'll start with the dinos because he's closer. Look at him! He's such a, okay, he rocks because he's on his light. But like, look at him. Oh wait, hang on. You gotta see the light up. Turn on. There! So we got rainbow lights, we got a dino and some grass on top, we got a dinosaur that fits inside on the bottom trying to hide from the one on top. So this is what I made for my daughter at my last class of the day, and that one was super fun. We did like dino trivia, everyone was laughing, we were the Craftodons, because I have no shame. I think I actually, if we go back and do it next year, I will take my daughter along and we will do this together, because this was fun. And then we have the gloves. So not only did we get a full and complete Sew Chic pattern for gloves in size small through large, which does fit my ridiculous hand. We love it. We also got a second set so that we could actually cut into it the way that the instructor had asked. And she understood that like people don't always want to, you know, cut into their patterns. Some people really like to trace. You know me, I don't care. I'm chaos embodied. I cut into things. But she did give us two, so that way we were able to cut the short version for the class. And then a complete other set is just ours for later on. 10 out of 10, we love that. Let me show you how far I got. Gotta turn it right side out, hang on. Okay, this is how far I got. Don't mind that. So I got one pinky, which is too long, and this is literally as far as I got. But the nice thing is I can tell that my thumb is right where it's supposed to be in this glove, which is spectacular. But I hate this fabric, and I will just finish it to try it out, and then I will cut this out of literally any other fabric. All right, and that's what I got from the classes that I took. So there was also a room that was a Destash bash, which I, of course, took a very large bag to because there are sewists here. They want fabric. I have fabric I don't want. This is a win-win situation. So I took a huge bag because every time you brought in a bag, you would then get points to spend on other things in the Destash bash, which means I'm getting rid of things that I want and I get to take home stuff I want. There is no downside here. And I will say, I dropped it off on Saturday morning, and by Saturday afternoon, I want to say I only saw about 5 or 6 pieces of mine left. So yes, it found new homes. Thank you. Thank you, whoever took it. Although it was also in this moment that I realized it was very good that I wore a mask. COVID is still a thing. Wear your mask. Be safe. Anyway, the stuff I got. Haha. Now look how small versus big old bag. Small, big. I did good. I did not bring home the entire bag, so we are still less net than once we started. And that is all I can ask for at this point. So, got some cutie little pumpkins. Everything was divided up into a point section, so there was a 2-point table, 1/2, and 1/4. Oh, there was a free table too, but it was scrappy bits. So these were a 1/4 pointer. I think I just told them to charge me half because I couldn't be bothered to care. I think that's what I did. And then they had some vintage patterns. Wasn't that cool? So of course, you know me, I had to flip through all of them because you never know. And I did find a few that I wanted to bring home. Number 1 should look real honkin' familiar because I just found, I think, the size 6 or 5 in my last haul. And now look, there's 3 more in a size 2, 5, and 7. So these actually I am going to check and list because I paid money for the fabric that I donated, and then it's even Steven to me. If it bothers you that I'm selling it, that's fine. It doesn't bother me because it's just so cute. It's Laura Ashley's. Absolutely need new homes. So I got those. These were all 1/4 point each. And then of course, because I can't just have 3/4 of a point, because I got the pumpkins and the patterns at a different time, so I couldn't just combine those. So I had to get this Good Housekeeping Needlecraft. Now, okay, listen, do I ever intend to make any of this? Absolutely not. Is it entertaining as crap to look through? Yes, yes it is. So I'm gonna look through it one time and then I'm going to go ahead and let it find a new home. Like, look at her with her little, it's so cute. But yeah, I just generally enjoy all the looking and glancing through all the things that you can do, the crochets, accessories with verve. Like, look, check out the rug. That's cool. I'm never gonna make it, but it's cool. So yeah, I got that with my other quarter point to give us one, because I like round things. And then we got some fabrics too. This is a set I found on the second day, so I wonder if somebody donated it late on Saturday. But it's very pretty. It's a little stiff, but it's a very pretty white. It's slightly stiffer, but here's why I got it. Hang on, gotta find it. And it has the tag. It was purchased August 28th, 1996 for $12.68. But yeah, like it's really sweet. It's a little on the tougher side, but it could either be like a really good mock-up material or just in general, like maybe I could make it a skirt, nice stiff skirt. I don't know. Or maybe I'll sell it. I haven't decided yet, but either way, I was like, this is cute enough to come home. And of course, you know, we love a good dimity. So I did find this 45-inch, 1 3/4 yard dimity, nice and yellow. It's not showing up well on camera. Let me put my hand in there. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. There. Once we have the pumpkins in, that helps. But yeah, it was just a really nice little bit. It's very soft. I really like it. My daughter is disastrous with fabrics, so probably not. That will probably find a new home. And then this one was intriguing because I started out by just seeing this. Just that. And I went, Loki? What? Why is Loki on here? That's cool. No, not Loki. Not Loki at all. Eternals. Like really gigantic Eternals fabric. I have no idea what I am going to do with this, but I don't care because it's cool. The folks that were running it, they had clearly missed that one. And so when I brought it up, they were like, where did you find this? I'm like, it was at the bottom of the 1 point pile. They were like, dang it. Because, you know, if you're a volunteer, the bonus of being a volunteer is you get first dibs on the fabric. And then I found one more thing at the Destash Bash, which is this very pretty plaid. This is 2.5 yards of very soft plaid. It's probably more modern and it's like a shirting weight, but man, it is super soft. Would make really lovely, I mean, it could really make really lovely anything. Oops, fuzz. You can see there it's got the little dots along the side. So it is a bit newer, but I don't care. It's so soft. And it's a nice like pink, blue. I like those colors. Those colors are good to me. So I'm gonna make something with this. And the one thing to know about the Destash Bash is that I did not realize that you could transfer your points to the next year. This is on me, because that was on their website. I just didn't read. So I probably had like 20 points that I lost. Do I care? No. Will I probably find more fabric to bring next time? Absolutely I will. So it's fine. But just so you know, if you do go, you can transfer those points onto the next time that they're in town. All right, now for the stuff I actually bought. We start with the sewing things and then we go down to the things that I spent my adult money on that probably people think are childish and I don't care. We'll start with the Dragon Girl design. She made these really super cute 3D printed like little lights. Ooh, here, let me show you. Like, look. And so this is for my daughter. This is her Christmas present because she loves all things anime. And so like the anime cat plus a little bit of light. And then from MoreMeKnow, I actually went back twice because I saw 2 separate things that I really wanted. The first time around, I ended up getting, oh no, you can't see it well. Oh, dang it. It's a super awesome grid ruler that it's really hard to see just how pretty it is here. Because y'all, it's a rainbow and it's got sparkles. So unlike the respectful but slightly boring yellow one I have, I won't lose this one because this one's sparkly. Yes, that's how my brain works. This was $22 for this 5x14 grid ruler. And I definitely had forgotten that I had gotten the free tags in the swag bag. And I'm really glad that I didn't buy the exact same ones because I got these instead. So we have may contain spooky shit. And of course, made in a galaxy far, far away. And then listen, I might have been influenced to think that I can make a bag or 2 this fall. I'm just saying, it's a partial combination here of TikToks I see that are cool and stupid Temu ads that won't go away. So I'm just gonna make it so it gets out of my brain. So I bought some bag hardware from them too. So for the TikTok one that I want to do, I bought this like kind of aged bronze situation. And then for the Temu one, we just got 2 silvers because I have a feeling it's going to be a dumpster fire, but it's fine. I at least got the hardware, and if it sucks, I can cut the hardware right back off. But what I didn't realize about the conference is that Hex Reject was there. Hex Reject, the designer, is responsible for Lore and the Mortician's merch, which I adore. Have I bought any yet? No, because I'm trying to be good with money, except clearly at here. But they were there too, which meant I got to buy stickers and not feel bad about it. I'm sorry, like what? Come on now. Like this is, and of course, dead man don't catcall. It's just spectacular. Spooktacular even. There are 2 other stickers, but I don't want to have people be squeamish on this channel. If you would rather just jump to the final conclusion, please jump now. You have been warned. Okay, great. Here you go. There's sparkly zombie hands or Frankenstein hands with giving you the middle finger. Like, come on. So that was my experience with Sew Magical Expo. Overall, I did have a good time. There were absolutely some frustrating points, some pain points, some things that my event manager brain latched onto and hyper fixated on. But overall, I had a really great time. And I do think that I would go again. Also because I really think my daughter would enjoy some of the more beginner classes because she's just starting to get interested in sewing because she's now been around me enough and we love that. We want to teach people to enjoy sewing, right? We want that to be a skill that doesn't die. We don't want that to be a dying art. We want it to be a thriving art. And to do that, we have to inspire the next generations to do that. And I really think that this expo could be a part of that arc, of inspiring people to thrive into sewing. And if you enjoyed this video today, I think you might enjoy this one, where I tried to sew a pattern that was supposedly my size from the 1970s, and well, I'll just let you watch to see how that went. And YouTube thinks that you will like that one right there. Until next time, friends, don't forget to sew in chaos. Bye. I need to socialize more.